up. I promise you'll get 60 seconds to explain why. All in favor of repealing Obamacare? Up we go. We have unanimity. No, I know you. I know you. I'm checking with them. I know. What a great crowd. Oh, heck yeah. Oh, tomorrow, man. I don't know about you, but all of us are ready to vote for some of y'all, because that is excellent. Okay, there's my time saver in the following way. Mr. Leopard, I'm going to start with you. Send it out to Ms. Jones. No, excuse me, send it down this way. It'll come back to Ms. Jones and Mr. Casper. Presuming that we want the end of Obamacare, I've always said, and many of you have agreed with me, it's not enough to be against something. We've got to say, here's what we have in our heads that are better. So when people ask you, what's better than Obamacare, what's a kind of a plan to the Senate you would approve of?
Mark, you're absolutely right. It is easy to get an applause line by saying repeal Obamacare. All of us agree on it. But never let a politician off at that point. You're right. Ask, what are you going to do? Because we still have real challenges. We repeal it, we've got real challenges with our healthcare system. So what we've tried to say is, let's really put something out there that addresses the challenges and the issues. And let's not deal with it in 7 seconds. So it involves prevention, allowing discriminatory pricing. If you smoke, you pay more. Car insurance, you get more accidents than me, you pay for it, the same situation on insurance. Number 2, utilize health savings accounts, allow them to be deductible at either the employer or the employee level, and allow the reserve to be built up and used by the individual. So all of a sudden, the individual has skin in the game. Next, allow competition into the game. Allow insurance companies to sell across state lines. Allow businesses to pool their interests and come together. Then we've got to change the way that we handle the system in total, the billing. Today, it's a procedural based. The more procedures, the more money it is for the healthcare providers. It has to go to outcome. So everybody's got an interest in coming up with a more efficient, effective way. Then we've got to have tort reform, especially venue shopping and putting a cap on the punitive charge or punitive damages that can be awarded. That becomes crucial. If we do those things, from prevention to competition to health savings accounts to tort reform, then we've addressed the issues. We've got a program that all of a sudden will bring the cost down because of the open market comes into play. And it returns the decision-making between the doctor and the patient and gets the government out of the game. Because the real issue is we may agree philosophical problems on Obamacare, but understand we can't afford it. Where we stand today is the high-risk pools are running 2 to 3 times, and 30% of the companies out there are saying, hey, this is an easy decision. We'll pay the penalty. You're the ones that are going to pick it up. That means it's trillions and trillions of dollars. We can't afford it. We need to act today.
I think let's come back down this way. Mr. Cleaver.
Said very well, Mr. Leopard. 3 things that I see on repealing. Obviously, we all agree about repealing Obamacare. We need to enforce meaningful tort reform. We've got to get rid of these frivolous lawsuits that are driving up the cost of insurance. It's astronomical. It's crazy. And the second item for me, and I'm not a politician, so it's a little more difficult for me to, it's 2,000 pages of a bill that, it's just hard to understand, and we know that it's unconstitutional. We've got to allow companies and corporations to group together, to buy insurance together, to get those low insurance rates. We've got to allow companies to compete across state lines. I agree with everything that you said. And that's exactly what I formatted for what I believe we need to do in place of Obamacare. Obviously, there needs to be major reform. I need to do more research on what I would like to implement for this because I know there's more answers for it. We just know that Obamacare should not be. And that we will make sure that we do not vote for. And it does need to be repealed.
I'm going to differ dramatically from everyone on this panel. I do not believe the federal government should be in your health care at all, which means I believe every penny that you've paid into Medicare, you should get back in a check adjusted for inflation since you've started paying in. You should be able to take that money and spend it on your health care how you choose. 95% of Americans age in their own home, but your government, I feel like I'm in a rap video. I feel like I should be just... yo. Get your money back. 95% of Americans age in their home, but the government is putting all of its money into nursing homes and hospitals. You're aging in your own home, so when your family takes care of you, you can't pay them with your Medicare dollars for the work they're doing. 80% of the health care that happens in this country is happening in your own home. It should not be going on even in a doctor's office. You make the decisions as a healthcare decision whether or not you're even going to the doctor. I believe you should get every penny you've paid in. We can't sustain Medicare because right now the average senior has only paid in 40% of what they use in total. So 60% of the money they're taking from Social Security and Medicare is coming from their children and grandchildren. That's not our way. You should get every penny back. Thank you.
The first successful business that I built and sold was an independent insurance agency. So I used to sell health insurance, and I can tell you that we absolutely must have competition across state lines. We absolutely must give doctors protection from frivolous lawsuits and stop this defensive medicine that most doctors are practicing. We absolutely must help physicians to be paid on a fast basis by the insurance company. If Ms. Jones goes to the doctor, when she checks out, she should be able to sign off on a computer screen, much like you see a waiter or a waitress when you go to a nice restaurant. They tap out what you ordered, they print up your bill and bring it to you and you pay it. That needs to happen in the doctor's office where she signs off on it. The insurance company's got 3 days to put the money in the doctor's account. That would drastically lower physicians' overhead because in the back room that you don't see, there are several people fighting to get money from the insurance companies. We've got to get back to market principles. We also need to let people hang a shingle like nurse practitioners. Most of the time that's what we see. Instead of a doctor, we see a nurse practitioner. We need to let those people hang shingles and not make them ask us about every single little episode and what our grandma died from just because that's the first time we've seen them. Just let us treat the ragweed that I'm suffering from right now. Let me buy a prescription from you right there and then. Pay my small office visit fee and get out of Dodge. Don't make her or him keep mounds and mounds of paperwork. We've got to simplify it, return it to market principles, because I will tell you as a small businessman, when you have survived the ups and downs of the economy without having the ability to fall back on a big government check, like I have, your brain naturally figures some things out that it would not otherwise, and that's the benefit of having a business mind.
Mark, I'm going to fight the hypo a little bit. Every candidate up here will raise his hand, and every Republican will say they oppose Obamacare. But Obamacare is an abomination that was jammed down the throats of the American people. And every politician says they'll stop it, but we need to be asking who has the backbone to lead the fight. The first bill I intend to introduce in the U.S. Senate is a bill to repeal every syllable of every word of Obamacare. And if Barack Obama is defeated, the biggest problem is going to be Republican leadership. Because there are going to be a lot of establishment Republicans that want to go back to business as usual, want to keep growing the federal government, and want to modify Obamacare, change some of it, but keep the basic mechanism. So the question all of you should ask is who has a proven record as a conservative and a fighter? I will throw my body in front of the train and will not settle until every word of Obamacare is removed from the U.S. Code. And in the last 5 seconds, of course, we should have competition across state lines and health savings accounts and move to the private sector and have competition. But the first thing we should do is get rid of Obamacare.
Ms. Jones.
Well, we all raised our hands and we said we'd get rid of Obamacare because we are a reflection of you here in this room. And yes, we have all talked before about competition and instilling free market principles into the insurance market. And I think, Lila, what you were talking about was deregulation. Let insurance companies compete for your business. Let the insurance that you get be portable and it can compete across state lines. Yes, that is all well and good. Tort reform. We saw how tort reform has affected the state of Texas where doctors can finally save patients and they don't have to practice law. And this is a fact. This is a fact that people who didn't have access to medical care now have it because of the tort reform we passed in 2003, 10-gallon tort reform. And I need to tell you, it wasn't easy. The trial bar does not like tort reform. And the trial bar does not stand for what we stand for here. And the trial bar will be a mighty force against whatever we try and do in Washington, D.C. I have stood up to the trial bar, and they can be very, very strong. We passed 10-gallon tort reform in the Texas legislature. So yes, this is all great. All of the things that everybody is talking about, we know what to do. But we also have to know that we're going to send somebody to Washington who has fought in the trenches, who has the experience and the meat on the bone. Because we don't really know everything we're going to be facing when we get there. But what we do know is that I am a strong, conservative woman who has served you and who you know. And I want to talk a little bit about the Republicans in tort reform.
10 seconds.
Even the Republicans weren't all for it. There were Republican lawyers who didn't like tort reform at the end of the day because it was going to kill their business too. And the forces of evil against what we're trying to do are mighty. And you've got a mighty strong woman who you can send to Washington, D.C.
Mr. Castanuela.
I spent 20 years in the healthcare industry. So I know a little bit about this subject, so to speak. And there's 4 components of the healthcare you got to think about. You have catastrophic care, you got long-term care, you got general health care, and then you got the uninsured. And the goal is, yes, I support health savings account because you need that, and it's got to be tax-free. People get to choose to spend that money how they want to go ahead and pay for their health care. But here's the biggest thing working for a nonprofit agency, is if there's already community health clinics already established in counties that people can go get health care who do not have insurance. And they work on a sliding scale fee, which basically means I take them my paycheck and I say, I need to see a doctor. How much do you make? All right, you're only going to pay $5, or you're going to pay $15. It's on the sliding scale fee. So the health care is already there for the uninsured. Now, when I was young, we wouldn't go to the doctor unless I was dying. And I'm literally, Mom would say, hey, we ain't got the money. You better be dead. So we would go to the doctor, and we'd work out a payment plan with the doctor, and we'd pay the doctor straight up. But most of the time, we do our own health care, right at home, as he was saying. The other thing is going on to that long-term health insurance. You know, recently, just within the past 2 months, we took in my wife's grandmother to come and stay with us. She was at a nursing home. Now the nursing home's going to jack up the price, take her Social Security, take her civil service retirement, take everything they got. We have gotten away from the fundamental principle of taking care of our own. We'd rather put them in a nursing home than take care of our own family. And we need to get back to some sophisticated. So health savings accounts, and I have a friend of mine who is a physician, who is the president of the American Family Practice Association. He gave me a great plan how to put together. And the real rough you put it, he said, let the doctors make empanelments with the insurance companies and the hospital say, this is how much I'm going to charge you if you come and do a panel with us. And the most you can sue me for is $1 million if you want me to provide the health care. Let the doctors start making those decisions. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. Thanks. A couple of other things I want to cover before we do give everybody a couple of minutes for closing statements. And I didn't want to get out of here without doing some social issues. So that little social issues checklist, and then something I'm going to send it out. I'm going to